that feeling that you get when you're able to bring your ideas to life and you take whatever's happening inside and you put it out for people to enjoy or ignore. It's kind of exhilarating to be able to see that you can do that for people.
Welcome to The Details. This is a show where an artist discusses 5 special details from a recent release with me, Molly Mary O'Brien. Here's Appleby talking about his recent single, Half-Life, from his new EP, While You Were Sleeping. So tell me about the writing process.
Yeah, so initially I had just moved to LA and I was fresh off of putting one album on hold that I had created. It didn't really land the way I wanted it to in the mixing stage. So it was kind of unfortunate. So we had to put a pause on that. And I was sort of scrambling to figure out sonically where I was going because I felt like I was moving into a different space. Then I slowly but surely started to find my network of producers in LA. And one of them in particular was a friend of mine, Milo Bennett. I went to Chicago. I want to say this is September 2020. I always spend my birthday with my mom. I'm an only child to a single mother. And I try to always make sure I'm around my mom around my birthday. I was there. My girlfriend was in Rhode Island visiting her family. The beginning of the project was created in this time period in which we'd FaceTime every night, and I'm a night owl. And so then I would put myself on mute just so I don't obviously bother her while she's sleeping. And that's how the title came about. Over the course of the next few months, I started taking any of these particular overwhelming emotions that I would experience throughout the days or throughout the evening, and I would put that into song forms. Similar with those types of heavy emotions that feel like they just need to come out. That's what Half-Life was for me, where it was I felt like if I don't write something, I'm going to burn my room down. That feeling, this heaviness of oh my God, I gotta say something. Mm-hmm. And I chose the healthier option, which is write about it and not burn my room down.
At night is when my soul feels heavy, heavy, and I can feel my pulse underneath my own bones.
Prior to me making music, I wanted to be a screenwriter. So I used to write really horrible spec scripts for Futurama and a bunch of other silly cartoons that I was into. And one of the things that stuck with me is this idea. I don't know if you've ever been on IMDB.com or not, but they essentially just have 2 to 3 sentences that describes the movie that you're on the page for. And I do that with writing. So I'll sit down and if I know what my topic is, or if I figure it out in the process of the writing, I'll stop and I'll write 2 to 3 sentences about what the song's about, or at least in my head, the visual representation. And then I kind of get to stick to the script per se.
So tell me what it's like to then take those songs into a room with a producer and how do you figure out what it turns into?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's part of the magic of music. I used to be a really big diary fan until I got to a point where I was expressing more in my diary or journals than I was in the music. And so I kind of sort of halted that in the middle of COVID. It was why don't you use the music as a place to put these emotions primarily? Sometimes it's a full-blown collaboration where you're involved in the production and they're involved in the writing. And sometimes it's you've got the writing locked down, I've got the production, and next thing you know, you marry each other. And when you're cutting the vocals or you're singing the melody out loud and they're that, whatever that was, do that. Are you recording that? And you're yeah, I got the voice memo going. We're good. There's a high that comes with that lightning in the bottle feeling when you're I'm never going to write another good song. And then you write another good song. You're oh, okay.
Specifically on Half-Life, the drums. Yeah. I think that's my favorite part is that when the song starts, it almost feels it's going to be one kind of sort of moody, chill song. And then all of a sudden it kicks in. I'm oh my God. So tell me how that happened.
The song itself was initially done over guitars. So I'm a guitar stan. It was actually basic until the producer Milo sent a couple different versions. It was nah, this one isn't it, this one isn't it, this one isn't it. And then he was hey, I tried something different. Don't know if you'll like it. And I press play. And when I heard the drums, I was bro, this is it. This is exactly what it needs to be.
Yeah.
Try to wish away the forget the people who would hold me.
And it was mainly because of the inspiration between 1975 and a conversation that we were having around Lord. And the both of those two, the drums just felt like the kind of energy that the song needed to give you that sort of like angsty, like, I'm about to burn this place down if I don't get a second to breathe, essentially.
Yeah.
I guess I'm attracted to like UK garage drums and things like that. And I guess I didn't know that. It wasn't until like somebody had heard that and maybe 3 other songs that I've done recently. And somebody was like, oh, so you like UK garage drums? And I was like, yes, question mark. One of the things that I started doing for release days is to create a physical experience that day. So there's a memory connected to it that doesn't have anything to do with like me being on my phone. So for example, this release, I went to Universal with my girlfriend, and like the time before that, it's like, let's go kart racing or whatever. It's just like creating physical things to remember it, because otherwise the digital aspect of what releases are, you don't feel too much like it's out until like you start to get the trickling in of physical, hey, this project was great, or a text or a call or something like that. And you're like, oh, okay, it's cool. It's out. Out.
Yeah, that makes sense. I love that. That's a good tip for getting out of the digital, vortex.
If you listen to the project at sunset or later, it does something different. I want people to experience warmth and vulnerability and being able to embrace emotions that are sometimes harder to talk about. When you can hear it in the song, it's like, this is what I need to hear. This helps me get through my day.
I've been stuck in this half life.